President Donald Trump and some of the nation's governors remain at loggerheads on the matter of the availability of coronavirus tests. Trump today challenging comments made by a number of state governors. They lack sufficient test kits to begin reopening their economies. Trump also said governors need to take some responsibility for establishing testing procedures on their own.
Not simply ask the federal government to provide unlimited support. I mean, you have to take the support where you have it. But we are there to stand with the governors and to help the governors, and that's what we're doing.
President Trump had cited Maryland Governor Larry Hogan, who said there was a lack of federal responsiveness, and announced today he had purchased COVID-19 tests from South Korea. Trump, however, said Hogan did not need to do that and could have saved, quote, a lot of money. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp is outlining the steps to reopen his state's economy. From member station WABE in Atlanta, Emma Hurt reports Kemp says the state is qualified to do so based on guidelines laid out by the White House.
Non-emergency surgeries and procedures are now encouraged again. In-person worship services can also happen as long as social distance is maintained. Governor Brian Kemp says the state is ready for any public health effects of these decisions.
Now, I will say that when we have more people moving around, we're probably going to see our cases continue to go up, but we're a lot better prepared for that now than we were over a month ago.
Businesses like hair and nail salons, massage therapists, gyms, and fitness centers can reopen later this week. Next Monday, restaurants and theaters will follow. All will still be subject to social distancing and sanitation protocols. It will not, Kemp qualified, be business as usual. For NPR News, I'm Emma Hurt in Atlanta.
Demand for oil has been drying up, and now for the first time the U.S. oil benchmark has gone negative. As NPR's Camila Dominowski reports, instead of paying money to get oil, some people are paying money to get rid of it.
At the start of this year, a barrel of West Texas Intermediate crude would have run you about $60. On Friday, it would have cost you at least $18. In less than a day, the price collapsed and went negative. The astonishing drop is driven partly by a trading contract deadline. Investors have until Tuesday to sell their current contracts, and since there aren't a lot of buyers, sellers are prepared to pay customers to take oil off their hands. But it also reflects the underlying and unprecedented imbalance in global oil markets. The world's producers can't cut their output fast enough to keep up with the fall in demand caused by the coronavirus pandemic. That means too much oil and serious questions about where to physically store it. Camila Dominowski, NPR News.
Stocks plunged on Wall Street today. The U.S. financial markets falling precipitously after crude oil futures prices went into negative territory. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was down 592 points. The Nasdaq fell 89 points. The S&P dropped 51 points. This is NPR. It's been 10 years since the Deepwater Horizon drilling rig exploded in the Gulf of Mexico, killing 11 men. NPR's Debbie Elliott reports the explosion unleashed the worst offshore environmental disaster in U.S. history, the BP oil spill.
In the dark of night on April 20th, 2010, oil and gas erupted from a well nearly a mile deep, causing the Deepwater Horizon to explode and ignite a firestorm at sea. 11 workers were never found. Leo Linder was an engineer on the rig that night.
That what happened on the Horizon didn't start on the rig. It started in corporate boardrooms. It ended on the rig.
A series of safety failures, including a faulty blowout preventer, were to blame. Oil gushed into the Gulf unchecked for nearly 3 months as BP struggled to close the well. The oil fouled more than 1,100 miles of shoreline from Texas to Florida and left a trail of environmental and economic devastation. Debbie Elliott, NPR News, Orange Beach, Alabama.
A U.S. appeals court today said it will allow Texas to enforce limits on medication-induced abortions as the GOP-led state seeks to postpone medical procedures deemed not urgent during the coronavirus outbreak. The Orleans-based Fifth Circuit throwing out a federal judge's order that had blocked Texas from applying restrictions on medication-induced abortions. This past Friday, a federal judge had ruled the state had to continue to allow abortions, but its temporary ban on non-essential medical procedures due to the COVID-19 outbreak. Stocks on Wall Street, the Dow dropped 592 points. The Nasdaq was down 89 points.